Doing today? All right. Do you guys know that words are powerful? Words have the power to build up and bring life, or they have the power to tear down and destroy. If we were to ask for a show of hands this morning, have any of you ever said anything to somebody else that you wish you could take back? Anybody? You mean I'm not the only one that puts my foot in my mouth? There's other people like me out there. Well, in our family, we have a rule, and this same rule has leaked into our life group. And the rule is, if you say something that's not encouraging, that's not uplifting, that's discouraging to somebody else, then you get called on it. And when you get called on it, you have to say 3 nice things to that person that you've just said something discouraging to. So I'd say not everybody has quite got the gist of this in our life group, because just the other week we had somebody who, and don't get me wrong, people in our life group, they're really good at policing people on this. They're really good at calling you out if you've said something that's not encouraging and uplifting. And a lot of times it's just in jest, but you still get called on it. So then you have to say 3 nice things. So just the other week, there's somebody that got called on it, and so he's like, okay, I can say 3 nice things, hold on. Hold on. I got it. Okay, you just earned 3 more nice things, because once you take time to think of 3 nice things, like that's discouraging. You can't come up with 3 nice things like that. So then you get 6 nice things. So no, he's like, I got it. I like what you're doing with your teeth. What? And I like when you fold your arms that your big belly can hold them up. And I like how the hair in your nose matches the hair coming out of your ears. You guys think that's just encouraging or discouraging? I think we need to learn a little bit about what it means to be encouraging, to build each other up instead of discouraging. What about you guys? Do you think you know how to be encouraging? Maybe we can learn from Abe Lincoln. Let's watch this. Let's see if he's encouraging.
Does this dress make my backside look big?
Perhaps it.
What do you guys think? Is Abe encouraging? Not so much. Sometimes there's honesty, and then there's brutal honesty. Sometimes we need to stay away from that brutal honesty, because it may not be encouraging and lifting another person up. And just a little side note to you guys, like so you don't get trapped in getting that question from a woman, why not just right off the bat say something encouraging to them, like, you're beautiful. Like, I'm so happy that you're in my life. Something like that right off the bat. So they don't even have to ask you the question, how's this make my backside look? Then you won't get caught in that trap if you ask them right off the bat. But guys, I just want to give you a little note here, just a tip. You might want to write this down. Never tell a woman when she asks you if she looks okay. Never say, you look fine. Don't say that. It's not encouraging. That's not what they're looking for. Now, it's different, guys, if you want to say something like, you look fine, like that. That's different. Now, that sounds encouraging. But if you're just like, you're fine. No, that's not encouraging. And ladies, it's not encouraging when you tell your man, you look cute. That's not what they want to hear. You look pretty. Oh, your outfit's so pretty. That's not what they want to hear. They want to hear something like, man, I love your Zeus and your Apollo. Something like that, like you're a manly man. I'm so glad you're in my life. We need to learn how to become more encouraging. I'd say Abe doesn't quite have it. I think that we could all learn to be more encouraging. So right now, I just want you to take a minute, that question that I asked you right at the beginning. Have you ever said something? Has something just come out of your mouth and you wish you could take it back? Or you sent an email or a text message or a Facebook message and you're like, I already hit send. I didn't really mean that. But guess what? Once it's released, there's no taking it back. And sometimes those words that we spew out, sometimes they hurt. Sometimes we don't mean to do that. So right now, if you could get out the outline, you have a Post-it note in your outline. Does everybody have one? Get out your Post-it note and a pen. And what I want you to do is write on the bottom of that Post-it note somebody that you need to give a word of encouragement to. Who is God bringing to your mind right now? Just the other day, Starbucks went down. Did anybody know that? Like all the Starbucks systems went down, like not yesterday, but the day before. It could be that it's your Starbucks barista. Maybe you got angry with them, that they need an encouraging word from you. I don't know if it's your spouse or your child, who it is. Is it your coworker? Is it your neighbor? Who is it that God is bringing to your mind that he wants you to bring a word of encouragement to? Now, as you think of that particular relationship, whatever you wrote down, and if he's not bringing somebody to your mind, he will before the end of this message. He'll bring somebody to your mind. And if he still doesn't bring somebody to your mind, then just put someone. And the next person he intersects you with, that's going to be them. Just think of that relationship that you want to build a bridge to with your words. Think about that like a brand new shiny car. Does anybody know what their dream car might be? Anybody have a dream car? You just want to shout it out. What's your dream car? Anybody? Everybody has something in mind that might be their brand new dream car. Now, some of you in the last celebration, they're like, a Pinto. No. Like, you're not getting into the spirit of things if you're like a beat-up old Pinto that's up on blocks. I'm talking about a brand new shiny car. Now, some of you are like, it's not a car at all. It's a Harley Davidson motorcycle all chromed out. Some of you, like, that's what's coming to your mind. Whatever this brand new, shiny thing is, this vehicle of yours, aren't you going to take a lot of care with it? Aren't you going to treat it with kid gloves? I've got some of my friends, they actually name their vehicles. Do you guys name your vehicles? Anybody out here name? A friend of mine, she calls her car Sunburst. She even names her bicycle. She calls it Bubblegum. She takes great care with her car, with her bicycle. I just wonder about our relationships. Do we take great care of our relationships? I had a car at one time, and I thought it was pretty cool. On the outside, it looked really cool, and I was driving along one day, and this red light started blinking on my dash. It said, check engine, check engine. And so I kept driving, and the light went out. So I was like, bonus! The light went out, so I just kept on driving. And then the light, a couple days later, it came back on. I was like, shoot, the light came back on. And then a couple days later, the light went out. So, of course, I'm like, bonus again. And guess what happened? Because I didn't take care of that. It was telling me, warning sign, check engine. I didn't do anything about it. I just kept driving. Eventually, that car, guess what it did? It died. I took it to our mechanic who happens to be British, and I said, well, the light did come on, but it went off. And I was like, bonus! And he's like, it's not a bonus, Jeannie. When the light goes off, how many of you in your relationships, you got a warning signal? Maybe it's time that you fill the love tank of one of your relationships with encouraging words, with something that's going to lift somebody up. It's not a bonus. If you see that red flashing light, it's time to do something about it. So we're going to take a look as we wrap up our series entitled Bridges today. We're going to look at how we're going to build bridges with our words. We're going to look at God's word. Our opening verse, 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, so encourage each other and build each other up. Now, I scoured the Bible. I looked for some verses that might say something about, hey, just go tear each other down. Just go be discouraging. And I couldn't find anything. Has anybody found anything like that in the Bible? I couldn't find one thing. What it kept saying is encourage, build up. Today, I'd like for us to look together what Jesus says. He wants to teach us how to encourage others, how to build each other up. So I like to think about this as tools in my tool belt. Can you picture everybody having a tool belt on? And Jesus wants to give us tools for our tool belt so that we can be great bridge builders in our relationships. So the first tool that we're going to add in our tool belt that Jesus gives us, number one on your outline, is to build trust. Number one, build trust. This is so important to Jesus. He says in Matthew 5:37, simply let your yes be your yes and your no, no. Jesus was serious about this. Let your yes be your yes and your no, no. And see, in biblical times, they had this whole trust system. You knew that you could trust another person, not because they swore to God, because that was against the law. You couldn't swear to God. I swear to God, I'm telling the truth this time. You couldn't do that. That was against the law. How you knew you could trust somebody was their walk. How close were they walking? How close were they being more like Jesus? their relationship with God. If they were close to God, then guess what? You could trust them. So that's what Jesus is saying. Just let your yes be your yes. I'm not quite sure that our society, that we quite get this system. Because I don't know if you remember when you were a kid, like, what did you guys say? Cross your heart and hope to die. Anybody know the rest of it? And stick a needle in your eye. Like, what's that about? Why are we sticking needles? No, I think that what we meant is, you can trust me on this. Trust me. Even as adults, do any of you, if you admit it, do you say, like, to be perfectly honest, does anybody say that? When you're talking, this makes me laugh out loud because I think, okay, so everything else you just told me is not honest? Like you were lying to me? Like, so you have to preface everything with, to be perfectly honest. We don't have to say that. Jesus is like, let your yes be your yes. He's saying, say what you mean and mean what you say, because our words are weighty. Our words are powerful. Now, I think there's a lot of ways in which we erode trust in our relationships, and I just want to fly through a couple of those that are top at my list. And the first one is lies. Why do we lie to each other? I think we lie because we so badly want to be accepted by another person. We think they're not going to accept us just as we are. So we lie. Another one is damaging words. We say hurtful words. I'm not sure why we do this. Why do we sling out and sting with words? Because they damage other people. I think we think that when we do that, it's going to build ourselves up. And that's how we erode trust in relationships. The third thing is broken promises. We break our promises. I think a lot of times we do this with our own children. We promise them like just a minute, or we'll do that, and then we never get to it. We never follow through. Now, children are resilient, but what are we teaching them? I think we're just eroding the trust in our relationships when we break our promises. And then the fourth one that I have at the top of my list, and there's many others of things that erode trust, but a top one for me is silence. We don't often think about that, but when you're silent and you're not sharing and opening up with another person, it's going to be really hard for that other person to trust you. Because you're not opening up. You're not sharing. So let's do that. If we want to build trust, let's start opening up to one another. So Jesus teaches us that we have to build our trust in order to strengthen our relationships. And he wants us to say, yes. Let your yes be your yes. Let your no be your no. Say what you mean and mean what you say. See, it all begins with one yes at a time. So many of you are like, I've already broken promises. I've demolished trust in my relationship. But you can start today. Start today just one yes at a time and mean it this time. One yes at a time and mean it this time. Yes, let your yes be your yes. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, several years ago, we had the opportunity to go to Katrina relief. It was a year after Hurricane Katrina had hit. And the homes, many of them were salvageable. And the families, they so badly wanted those homes to be salvaged. Those were their priceless, valued family homes with all their memories in them. And a lot of the homes, they had really good bones, but the foundation was demolished. So what we would do is we would lift up the home and we would rebuild the foundation and then set the home back down on the foundation. In their homes, their beautiful family homes, they were salvaged. I think a lot of us in our relationships, we need to do the same thing. I think they can be salvaged. They're beautiful relationships. I think we just need to pick them up and rebuild the foundation of trust in our relationships. We can do that. Starting today. Let's let our yes be our yes. So in order to be great bridge builders, Jesus tells us, it starts by building trust. And then secondly, on your outline, we've got to use our ears. Use my ears. I believe that God is a great example of this. We find in Psalm 116:1. It says, I love the Lord because he listens to my prayers for help. Have you guys ever thought about the billions of prayers that God gets every day? Billions of prayers. We pray to him every day, and a lot of times all the prayers that we're praying, if we stop and look at them, they're kind of selfish. They're usually about ourself. Oh, Lord, please get me out of this mess or whatever it is. And the thing is he hears every single prayer. He hears all of them, so we can learn from him. He's the greatest listener ever. He hears all of our prayers. See, I believe that genuine listening, that it's hard work. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. I just want to share with you something I found. The Chinese character for listening, it doesn't just use our ears. It uses our whole self. It uses our eyes, our undivided attention, and an open heart. I think that's huge. I think if we're going to begin to become good listeners, we're going to have to use our whole self. Now, on the back of your outline, we're going to go through an acrostic of listen, just so that we can become better listeners starting today. And L, you'll find on the back of your outline, is for look. Let's start looking at people. Let me be very specific here. Let's look at people in their eyes. Look at them in their eyes while you're listening to them. Now, how many times are you trying to listen to somebody and you're looking at their hair or the sunglasses on top of their head? Are you looking at what they got on or what their shoes are or if their socks match or something else? You're not really listening. Let's look at people in their eyes while we listen to them. And then I is for invest. Invest. We want to invest in people. There is no greater way than to let somebody know, you know what? I value what you say. I value what you say. There's no greater way than investing in people. It conveys, you know what? I'm going to listen to you because I value you. You are important to me. And then S is stop. This is a really tough one in our society. Does anybody else have like what's called mobilitis, where you can't be like a few feet from your phone? Anybody have that? Or some kind of technological device? So it's really hard for us to stop looking at our phones or our iPads or watching TV or talking on the phone to somebody else. It's hard for us to stop that. But if we're going to truly listen, we're going to look at somebody in their eyes, we're going to invest in them, then we're going to stop everything else that we're doing. That's how we become better listeners. And then the T is for think. Let's think about what they're saying. How many of us, I know I'm guilty of this, you're not listening to them and thinking about what they're saying because you're busy thinking about how you're going to reply. How am I going to reply to this person? Anybody do that? You're thinking about something else other than what they're saying to you. So let's think about what they're saying. And then E is empathize. Let's try to identify how the person is feeling. Can we identify with that? Let's empathize with them. They've got a story to tell, and they want you to listen to their story. Now, a bad listener, what we're going to do as a bad listener is we're going to one-up them with our story. But a good listener is going to tease out their story. They're going to listen. They're going to empathize. They're going to tease out that story with more questions to hear more of their story. And then the last one is N, notice. Notice body language. How many of you have ever said to somebody, how's your day? What's up today? How you doing today? And they got somebody that says, fine, I'm fine. Notice the body language. If their body language is not matching what their words are, then it's time to get deeper. It's time to tease out with more questions. What's going on? Notice body language. This is how we're going to become better listeners. Better listeners. I just saw some husbands and wives looking at one another like, this is you. That was interesting. We're going to become better listeners starting today, so no worries. Better listeners today. I love what the psychologist Carl Rogers has to say about understanding and listening. Nothing feels so good as being understood. Let me say that again. Nothing feels so good as being understood. That's so true. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be understood. Everybody has a story that they have to share. So what do? We learn to listen. We're going to be these great bridge builders with these tools in our belt. We're going to build trust. We're going to learn to listen before we speak. And then thirdly, on your outline, we're going to ask God to give us a new heart. Number 3, ask God to give me a new heart. In Luke 6:45, it says, this is where it all begins. What you say flows from what is in your heart. That's huge. Jesus said, if we want to be great bridge builders with our words, it's going to start from our heart. Everything that comes out of our mouth is an overflow of our heart. Now, I can't help but think, what's been in the news lately is this ESPN sideline reporter. And this thing has went viral. This lady, she got her car towed, and she had to go and get her car out. And she said some really hurtful things to the person working in the tow yard. She said some really nasty, mean, hurtful things. And they caught her on camera, and this is why it's went viral. And people are they're outraged and they're angry because of what this lady said. She hurt this other lady with her words. But I can't help but wonder, what if a camera was following me around? What if a camera was following you around? Like, is everything that comes out of our mouth, is it pleasing to God or not? Or would we be caught saying hurtful words as well? I know that sometimes we say, but I was just angry. Guess what? That's what's in your heart then. So let's ask God to get in there and give us a new heart so that what comes out of our mouth is encouraging, words that will build other people up. Let's be life bringers, and it can start today. Ephesians 4:29 says, don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. See, if we don't allow God in our heart to heal the hurt in our own heart, if we don't allow him in there to transform our heart, then we will be using our words to tear down and destroy. You know, some of you sitting in these very same seats, you've had hurt words spoken into your life, hurt words that cut so deeply. I met with one gentleman not too long ago, and he shared his life story with me. And as I listened, as I teased out with questions, and I heard what he was saying, those same words spoken into his life, his entire life, they caused him to want to take his own life. That's how bad and hurtful those words were to him. What about our own words? What kind of words are we using? Are we using words that tear down and destroy? Let's watch this.
Hey, Dad.
What happened out there?
The ball slipped. The lights got in my eyes.
The lights got in your eyes.
Yeah.
You know that's what cost us the game, don't you?
Yeah.
The ball slipped. How many times have I gotten up in the morning before 5 a.m., before I go to work on the stuff with you, huh? There were scouts out there. You realize that?
Dad, the ball slipped.
The ball slipped.
It did. I mean, what do you want?
Hey, Coach. Huh? No. Butterfingers, yeah. We're going to work with him. Uh-huh. All right. See you later.
Are you crying?
No.
Well, don't. Pull it together. People are watching. I want you to grab your stuff. I'm going to go to the car and I'll meet you there, all right?
Dad.
I'm just disappointed in you, all right? These were our dreams, right? Grab your stuff. Hey, can I ask you a question?
What are you doing in my room?
I just need to ask you a question.
What?
Can you give me and my friends a ride to school? It's cold and I don't want to ride my bike. What?
Are you really asking that?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Just give me a ride and some of my friends to school.
You need to understand something. Just because you and your loser friends are in high school now doesn't mean I'm going to give you a ride, okay? Because look at me. You need to understand that when people look at you, they see a freak, all right? And if they know that I'm related to you, if they know we're brothers, they're going to think I'm a freak too, okay? And I'm not okay with that. So here's the deal. I don't care how you get there. I don't care if you have to walk or crawl or whatever, but I'm not going to be a chauffeur for you and your loser friends, okay?
It's not my fault that Dad left. Why do you keep taking out on me?
Whatever.
No, you know I'm right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're not sorry. You're only sorry that I'm calling you out. I'll just ride my bike.
I said I was sorry.
I'll ride my bike.
Come on.
There you are.
Hey,
Hi.
hey,
Hi.
hey.
Hey, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, what?
Well, we were talking about building the tree house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love tree houses.
Yeah, it's just a thing. See, you can't help us build the tree house.
Why?
Well, you don't really want me to tell you.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, we were talking,
Uh-huh.
the gang, we were talking, and,
Yeah.
well, you're too fat.
What?
You'll weigh down the treehouse.
I'm not fat.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I'm not. No. Mommy just says I'm big boned.
Dinosaurs are big boned, you're fat.
No. Mommy says I'm chunky.
Peanut butter's chunky, you're fat.
No. Mommy says that I've lost weight.
I think you found it.
No. Mommy says I'm just different.
Your mommy says you're just different?
Yeah, I'm just different.
Go back to where you came from. I gotta go. Bye.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's one of the biggest lies we teach children. Words hurt. They cut deep.
You guys have heard that old adage, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt. That is so untrue. That's a lie. Words hurt. Words have the power to destroy. Words have the power to break a child's heart. They have the power to break a husband's dreams, to break a wife's love. They have the power to douse water on a flame, on a dream, on a passion. But what if today we were a different people? What if we made a difference today? What if we became life bringers? What if we used our words to inspire a dream? What if we used our words to motivate, to encourage? What if we used our words to bring life and love and healing and hope to another person? What if we used our words? What if we built a bridge with our words in all of our relationships, starting today? What if we did that? What if we became, just like in Thessalonians, the people? Look for the best in each other and always did our best to bring it out. What if we became those people right now? What if right now you looked at your neighbor and you just said, "You rock"? Can you do that? Right now, just say, "You rock" to the person sitting next to you. You rock. What if we were like, bam, I love you. I love you. What if we said encouraging words and built each other up? We can be bringers of life starting today. Go ahead and get your Post-it note back out that you started at the very beginning. Some of you already have a name on it. Some of you, God might be bringing to mind other names to put on it. I just want you to write at the top of that Post-it note, "I will build up." At the top of that Post-it note, write, "I will build up." Write that right now. We've crafted time here at the end. And what we want you to do is we're going to ask the band to come out and they're going to play and I'm going to pray. I'm going to ask you guys to come down the center aisle, and after you talk to God about making this commitment today, about being an encourager, being a life bringer, when you make that commitment today, we want you to come up the center aisle, come across the stage, go across the bridge, signifying, "Yes, God, I want a new heart, and I am going to use my words that you give me to build others up, to be a life bringer today." I'm going to ask you all to stand. After I pray over you, you can come up when you feel led. Cross the bridge, bring your sticky note, stick it anywhere on the bridge, saying, "Yes, I'm going to be a life bringer. I'm going to build each other up. I'm going to encourage another person." And then after you do that, we just want you to exit out the back doors quietly as other people are talking to God about their commitment and who they're going to begin encouraging today. Let's pray. Jesus, I know you want to give each of us a new heart. That's what you came here to do. The cross you bared and your resurrection, it's not just a historical event, it's a personal event. It's all about you forgiving us even when we've messed up, even when we've used our words to destroy. Give us a new heart, Lord, that we might use our words that you give us to be a bringer of life, to bring love and healing and hope to others. If you want a new heart right now, will you say these words to yourself right where you are? You could say them in your mind. I want a new heart, Lord. I've messed up in my life. I've blown it. I admit it. I've sinned. Would you forgive me? Give me a new heart. Help me to start over. I want to live in a new way in the future. I want to be a bringer of life, Lord. Would you start to guide and direct my life? As you say that in your mind right now, I promise you that God hears you. He came to establish a connection with us. He came to open a line of communication with us. I promise you, He's doing what you've asked right now. Father, as best as we know how, we communicate to you that we want to build up others. That's what we want to do. Give us your words to be life bringers today, right now. We ask all this in your name, Jesus.